In this video, I will be reviewing the RECO information guide. It is mandatory as a realtor in Ontario to review this guide with you before we decide to work together. Hi there, it's Teresa here, realtor with Coldwell banker Ronan Realty, and wanted to personally thank you for considering using my services. In this video, I will review the key points of the RECO information guide that you received. The guide is provided by the Real Estate Council of Ontario, and they are the regulatory body for real estate agents and brokerages in the province of Ontario. Before we begin, I want you to know that RECO plays a crucial role in regulating real estate agents, educating consumers, and ensuring that there is an informed marketplace in Ontario. I encourage you to review this video in its entirety as it is an important step in your real estate journey and understanding what is available to you. I will review our next steps at the end of this video as well, so stay tuned. Okay, let's jump in. RECO administers and enforces the Trust in Real Estate Services Act 2002. The information that you have is an initiative on their behalf to inform and educate consumers like yourself who are receiving this guide because you are either considering receiving real estate services from a real estate agent like myself, or perhaps I'm representing a client in a real estate transaction and you are considering receiving assistance from a real estate agent in Ontario. I am required to provide you this guide before I provide any services or assistance to you. I also must tell you that I'm registered with RECO, and I have completed the mandatory education and also hold the necessary consumer deposit protection and liability insurance. Here is what we will be reviewing in this guide. Working with a real estate agent, know the risk of representing yourself, signing a contract with a real estate brokerage, understanding multiple representation, and how to make a complaint. Let's start with working with a real estate agent. If you are a seller, I can advise you on the market conditions, I can market or advertise your home, I can provide you with referrals to professionals, I can arrange inspections and showings and guide you through the paperwork and the closing procedures. As a buyer, I can assist you with financing, I can explain tax exemptions, gather information on neighborhoods, arrange property tours and visits, explain the offer process, and negotiate with sellers and guide you through the paperwork and closing processes. As a landlord or tenant, I can provide equally similar services both buyers and sellers benefit from, and the duties that the brokerage and the agent provide to them. This includes undivided loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, and the avoidance of conflict of interest. As a client, you also have duties in this relationship. You need to be clear about your preferences, respond promptly to my requests, understand the terms of our agreement, and pay the agreed-upon fees. You also have the right to not become a client and become self-represented in your real estate transaction. This section explains the risks in representing yourself in a real estate transaction. You should consult professional advice before declaring yourself a self-represented party. If you know that you have the skills and experience to represent yourself in a real estate transaction, you should know that I may represent someone else in the same real estate transaction. I would have a legal obligation to act in the best interests of my client, and anything that you said to me may be relayed to my client. However, if you became a client of mine, I would owe you the same duties and obligations as outlined earlier. You have the right to change your mind if you choose to complete a transaction on your own, or you can choose to become a client of mine or another real estate professional. When becoming a client, you sign a representation agreement with my brokerage. This agreement outlines the services, duties, payment terms, and termination provisions. If you decide to become a client, I will send you a standard representation agreement commonly used by agents. There are advantages to signing a representation agreement at this stage. I would owe you the duties previously discussed, my undivided loyalty, your interests are protected, I must protect your confidential information, and I must avoid any potential conflicts of interest. I would only encourage you to sign at this point if we have reviewed my buying and/or selling processes to ensure we are aligned in how we will work together. Once we agree on the process, we can proceed with signing this document as well as the representation agreement. There are no standard buying and selling processes in real estate, so ensuring we are a fit will be advantageous to all parties involved. In addition, I have a cancel anytime policy. If at any time you are not happy with my services, you can cancel, no questions asked. To ensure there are no misunderstandings, my brokerage follows designated representation and not brokerage representation procedures. This means I represent you in the real estate transaction. A situation may occur where I represent more than one client in the same transaction. This is not allowed unless all clients agreed to it. If agreed, my role must change. I become a facilitator to the transaction. I remain impartial and I do not have undivided loyalty. I cannot promote or protect one party's interest over the other party's interest or vice versa. I cannot advise on price terms or other benefits that may harm or help you and the other party in the transaction. I must always provide legal, honesty, and ethical service to all parties, and I must protect all confidential information. Once again, it's not allowed unless all parties agree to it, and it's also pretty rare. The most likely scenario is that one party agrees to be represented by another real estate agent within my brokerage. Then everyone retains the same duties and services that they agreed to. Sellers in Ontario have the right to disclose the content within the offers that they receive. They cannot disclose personal information. They do not need to disclose their intentions in advance, and they can change their mind. Buyers can choose to not participate in offers where the contents of their offers may be disclosed to other parties. However, we may not always know in advance. This final section is about how to file a complaint. As mentioned earlier, if for any reason I have a no questions asked cancellation policy that you can take advantage of at any time. If you have any concerns about working with me, I would encourage you first to discuss your concern with my broker of record. If for any reason the issue persists, you can contact RECO through the process outlined in the guide. My number one goal for every client relationship is to listen, provide information for decision-making, support and guide you, and be your top negotiator. My loyalty is to my clients, and my promise is to protect your best interest first and foremost. In conclusion, working with a real estate agent involves mutual responsibilities and clear communication whether you are a buyer, a seller, a landlord, or a tenant. Understanding the terms of your agreement and knowing when to ask for professional advice is crucial to a successful real estate transaction. If you have any questions about the information reviewed today, please contact me at the number or email on your screen or in the description below. Feel free to begin searching for properties or comparables on my website at teresagabriele.com. I will be in touch with you as a next step to review other agreements and documents for signature. Thank you for sticking with me to the end, and talk to you soon. We got this. Have a great rest of your day.